Everyone, we'll call to order the meeting of the Lancaster Criminal Justice Commission. Start with a roll call.
Commissioners Brown.
Present.
Harris.
Present.
Kerr.
Present.
McCracken.
Present.
Paris. Absent. Vice Chair Little.
Present.
Chairman Mercy.
Present.
We have a quorum.
Okay, wonderful. Let's see. Commissioner Harris, would you like to lead us in the pledge?
Put your right hand over your own heart and repeat with me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, I don't see any presentation on the agenda, so we'll move to the consent calendar, which consists of one item, the approval of minutes. Has everyone had a chance to review the minutes? Is there any objection to approving the consent calendar as presented?
No objection.
Hearing none, so ordered. Commission staff presentations, updates, and reports. We'll start LA County Sheriff's. Morning, sir.
Good morning, Commission. Thank you for having me here. It's always a pleasure. I'm going to present the crime statistics, or CompStat, for March of 2025. We'll start out with the 5-year and 1-year comparison. So we're going to start with criminal homicide, with the total incidents in 2025 in the city of Lancaster at 4. With total incidents at 1 in the unincorporated area. Year-to-date reported for the month last year was, or same year was 4. Going back to this month's percentage, the 5-year change in year-to-date from 2025 to 2020 was up 33.33%. However, there was a 0% increase in 25 total from last year. And then if you see the NC, that's non-calculable in the unincorporated area due to the fact that in 24 there was 0 reported for the month. So there's no statistic calculation from 0. So station total for criminal homicides is going to be a 25% increase, if you see all the way to the right of the screen there. We'll go to forcible rate for total incidents in 2025 in the city is 27, with a number of 2 in the unincorporated area for a total of 29. Which brings that to a 93.33% increase total. However, that's a decrease at 60% in the unincorporated area, but a total of 170% on the increase within the city area. Robberies, we're at 64 total robberies in the city, with 5 in the unincorporated area for a total of 69, which brings the total percentage down to 20.69%, with a decrease of 14.67% in the city of Lancaster. Unincorporated area is a 58.33% decrease. We'll go to aggravated assaults for a total of 218 in the city, with 31 in the unincorporated area for a total of 249, which brings it down to a 5.63% drop in the city of Lancaster, with a 0% change in percentage in the unincorporated area. Total drop is 4.96% overall. Burglaries are at 152 in the city of Lancaster, 35 in the unincorporated area for a total of 187. Which in the city drops it down to a 12.14% decrease. However, there is a 29.63% increase in the unincorporated area, with the overall drop at 6.50%. Larceny theft in the city of Lancaster is at 264, with 32 in the unincorporated area for a total of 296, with a 20.48% decrease in the city and a 25.58% decrease in the unincorporated area, which brings the average out to 21.07%. Grand theft auto is at 375 and 56 in the unincorporated area for a total of 431. 17.92% increase in the city with a 61.38% decrease in the unincorporated area, which brings the average down total of 6.91%. Arsons are at 10 in the city, 4 in the unincorporated area with a total of 14, which there is an increase of 150% in the city, 33.33% in the unincorporated area, with an overall average of 100% increase. There's such a large percentage increase because the number's so low. So if they do vary by 3 or 4, it'll greatly change your percentage rate.
Well, can I ask just a kind of a general question, because particularly when we look at 5-year change from 2020 to 2025, hard to believe it's been 5 years since they first locked us in, but I imagine that had an effect on why crimes increased, because, I mean, if we're looking 5 years back, that's right when everybody was starting quarantines and things like that, so I guess just looking for confirmation, is that, I mean, in terms of some of these significant increases, on the 5-year, like the 1 year looks pretty good overall.
Right, so I don't have an exact, but I mean, in past conversations, we've seen that increase in arsons due to the fact that we had the increase in auto thefts, where a separate report number is being pulled for the arson at the same time when cars are being burned out in the desert.
Oh, okay.
I think we saw some changes too 5 years ago with how people were being prosecuted and how people are being penalized. But yeah, so I don't know that it was quarantine or anything like that. But
Okay.
I know the increase in recent times when we look at it and go, wow, is due to the fact that a lot of those are cars being burned that have been stolen.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's the one specifically, those numbers on Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, no problem. So for a total in 2025, for Part 1 crimes is 1,114 in the city with 166 in the unincorporated area for a total of 1,280, which brings it overall down in the city at 2.88% and 37.59% in the unincorporated area for a total decrease of 9.41%.
Hey, groupie, question on the burglary. Is there a specific reason why the unincorporated area is the only one that didn't show a decrease?
I don't have any specific reason other than, I mean, statistics being reported. I don't have an answer as to why it hasn't increased and
Okay, I was
crime
just
hasn't.
curious
But
if
I
there's
mean,
something significant.
it's just all calculated from statistics of reports being generated.
Okay,
So I could probably do the research and find out, look into and talk to our detective bureau and find out overall what's going on, but yeah. I
is
don't
there
have a-
generally just more burglary in the unincorporated areas then?
Right.
As a rule of thumb?
Yeah, I mean, it's unincorporated area is further out there, less people to watch, less people to see, more unattended items, Connex containers, stuff like that.
Got you. Thank you.
No problem. Comparison, March of 24 to 25 for arrests. Our, last year at this time, there was 382, and we have 355 this year. We'll move forward to the City of Lancaster Part 1 crime hotspot areas, which usually match the calls for service pretty closely if you look. Not as narrowed down, I'm gonna go back, but just so you can kind of see on the board. The Part 1 crime hotspot areas usually match where people are calling deputies for service. Anyone have any questions?
I was just going to add for the commission, when you look at the map there, just for your knowledge there, that's the city of Lancaster. And that's basically our deployment for the city itself. The blue area is what we call, they're the west side cars, which are by designation 111 units. The middle, the green, is our 110 units, which are the mid-city, we call it. And then the red is the 112 units, which are the east side area. And so that mid-city area in the green goes from about 15th West to Challenger Way, just so you have an idea geographically.
All right, and then we'll go to the City of Lancaster traffic data for March of 2025. Total fatal traffic collisions was 2. Total of injury traffic collisions was 62. Total of non-injury traffic collisions was 78. There was 180 citations issued with a total of 45 DUI arrests.
Of those DUIs, how many were involved in collisions?
You know, I don't have that information on my statistical makeup, but I'm pretty sure I can find out in a timely manner for you. If I don't get it before the end of the meeting, I could probably get it.
Okay.
I'll have
Yeah,
it
as
for
long
you
as
at the
not too
next
much.
meeting, yeah.
Just, I just want to show the importance of that.
Okay, perfect. If there's no other questions, that concludes my presentation of the crime statistics in the city of Lancaster.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, let's see, next up, California Highway Patrol. Well,
Good morning.
good morning, sir.
Thank you for having me. Don't have a fancy PowerPoint like Groupie, but I'll do my best. So I have our traffic statistics from April of 2025 and the increase or decrease from the same period of April of 2024. So starting off with our overall citations, April of this year, we wrote a total of 1,023 traffic citations, which was a 97.87% increase from 2024. Of those, speeding violations were 454, which is a 68.77% increase. Distracted driving, which were 81, which was a 252.17% increase. Seatbelt violations was 19, which was 11.76% increased. And child restraint violations were 9, which was a 12.5% increase. Our overall arrests for the month was 93, which was a 47.62% increase. DUI arrests totaled 77, which is a 48.08% increase. Of those 77 DUI arrests, 21 were as a result of a traffic crash. Our total fatal collisions for April was 2, which was a 71% decrease from the same time the year prior. Total injury crashes were 73, which was a 1.35% decrease. Non-injury crashes were a total of 89, which was a 27.14% increase. And our total crashes was 162, which was an 8.72% increase. Additionally, we seized 6 firearms off the streets, which was a 500% increase from the previous year. Any questions on the stats before I move on? Cool. A couple other areas that topics our area want to discuss is our additional resources coming. We currently have 2 officers in our field training officer program, our FDEP program, and we're getting 3 more new officers in June of 2025, and they will start our FDEP program then. Our department is deploying new specially marked patrol vehicles, which is the Dodge Durangos. Our area anticipates receiving 1 by the end of June 2024, and they will, or 2025, and they will be deployed to combat speeding, reckless driving, road rage incidents, to help the motoring public stay safe. Additionally, we have body-worn cameras. We just received them this month, so they will be deployed to the field by the end of June, once we get all our officers trained on it. So,
And did you mention last time that, that there were additional academy classes?
yes, so right now our department is pushing out 6 academy classes each year. We are on par with that. There's about 140 cadets in each academy class, and we're graduating in anywhere between 70 and 110 cadets out of those.
That's great.
Yep. Any other questions? All right, thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. District Attorney?
Good morning. I have for you today our filing statistics for Lancaster for both March and April. It includes filings and declines. For arsons, in March, we did not file any cases. We filed 2 in April. There were no declines in March or April. Auto thefts, we filed 6 cases in March, 16 in April. There were 7 cases declined in March, 12 in April. In the area of burglaries, both residential and commercial, we filed 12 cases in March, 6 in April. We declined 1 in March. We did not decline any in April. Criminal threats, there were 2 filed in March, 5 in April. 1 decline in March, 1 in April. Drug sales, we filed 1 drug sales case in March, 6 in April. There were no declined cases in March, and there was 1 decline in April. For felony domestic violence, we filed 5 cases in March, 2 in April. We declined to file 6 in March and 3 in April. Felony evading and felony hit and run cases, there were 7 filed in March, 7 in April. There was 1 declined in March, and there were no cases in that area declined in April. With felony assaults, that includes assaults with deadly weapons and also assaults likely to produce great bodily injury or death. We filed 17 in March, 8 in April. We declined 11 in March and declined 10 in April. Felony DUI, we filed 1 in March, 2 in April, declined 1 case in both March and April. Grand thefts and identity theft cases, we filed 3 in March. There were no filings in April in that area. We declined 5 in March and declined 4 in April. Illegal firearms and illegal weapons, we filed 8 cases in March, 17 in April. There were no declines in that area in March. We declined 6 in April. For murders and attempted murders, there were no cases in that category filed in March. There were 5 filed in April. 1 decline in March and 1 decline in April. Robberies, we filed 5 in March, 12 in April. We declined 4 in March. We did not decline any in April. In the area of sex crimes, and that includes both crimes committed against adults and children, we filed 1 in March, 9 in April. There were 16 declines in March, 13 declines in April. Vandalisms, there was 1 case filed, and these are felonies, 1 felony vandalism filed in March, 4 in April, 3 declined in March, 2 in April. Violations of protective orders, 16 were filed in March, 13 were filed in April, 5 cases were declined in March, and 8 cases were declined in April. Do you have any questions about any of those numbers?
I have a question. If you could briefly explain to us why the cases are declined?
That is kind of a difficult question to answer. It really depends on the facts of the case. It's very specific to a specific case. Our filing standard is proof beyond a reasonable doubt, so we're looking at the same standard that would apply in a criminal jury trial. So when our filing DAs are reviewing cases, they're looking to see if we have sufficient evidence to prove the case to a jury beyond a reasonable doubt. And what we do is we look at the evidence that is presented, but we also consider the likely defenses that will be presented. And based on our evaluation of those factors, with the jury instructions that include the elements that we have to prove in court, we make a decision based on our training and experience. And if we've determined that there's insufficient evidence to prove those cases beyond a reasonable doubt, then a case might be declined. That's one reason. In some cases, we decline to file cases because we have victims or witnesses that are uncooperative, or they decline to prosecute. In other instances, a case might be declined because we need further investigation to be presented to our office. And so our DAs that are responsible for evaluating charges, they will advise the investigators that this case has potential for filing, but we need some additional evidence. And so we will give some instructions and some directions about what further investigation can be completed in order to make the case fileable. In other instances, we might elect to file what's called a probation violation in lieu of a new case, and that's where a defendant's on probation and they're facing some additional time in custody. Maybe they would go to state prison if the court finds that they violated probation. And picking up or being arrested for a new case would be a probation violation. Many times we'll file a probation violation instead of a new case because the standard of proof is it's lesser than that proof beyond a reasonable doubt, and we only have to prove that case to a judge rather than a jury. So there's some strategy that's involved in that decision. And there are other reasons as well, but that, in a nutshell, is the process that we go through.
The question I had here is, CHP reported 77 DUIs. What turns a DUI into a felony DUI?
Well, there's several things that can turn a DUI into a felony. One, it has to do with injuries. DUI with injuries, it's Vehicle Code Section 23153. Those cases can be filed as misdemeanors or felonies, and it depends on the nature of the injury. Also, prior convictions. So if a suspect has 3 or more prior convictions, then the case would be filed as a felony. Also, if they have a prior, I believe it's a vehicular manslaughter or another prior felony DUI. So for instance, someone was convicted of 1 prior DUI with injury, then that could be filed as a felony.
I have a question in regards to illegal firearms and weapons.
Yes.
That the number and compared to the other cases is substantially high, and what is the violation will be? Maybe a violation of conceal, or somebody actually end up with discharge the weapons related to the crime?
In that area, with the illegal firearms, we're looking at many factors. It could be felon in possession of a firearm. In that area, I'm also looking at other violations with other weapons. It could be possession of an assault weapon. There's a huge number of illegal firearms sections that we consider there. In terms of illegally discharging a firearm, I probably would categorize that in this same section as illegal firearms because you don't necessarily have a victim in that particular instance. If someone were to, fire a firearm or discharge a firearm at another individual, I would file it under the category as a felony assault. So with that illegal discharge, firing a firearm into the air or into the ground, that when I'm doing my stats, would include it in that illegal firearm category.
Oh, I see. All right, thank you. Yeah.
Any other questions? All right, thank you very much.
Great, thank you. Okay, Lancaster Police Department.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Just a short update today. This month has been our homeless plan update month. And so the LPD this year took over the Measure H and Measure A funding. Measure H is sunsetting, although there's funds that will roll over and continue through next year. Measure A just started, and so those are all new funds, and there's different rules attached. The county has different focuses that they want for those. So our team spent a lot of time with the county, coming up with a plan, going back and forth with what works, what doesn't work, what meets those requirements and what doesn't, and then also working with our CBOs. So they have a plan. That plan has been updated, and there's a QR code on flyers in the back. So if anybody's interested, they can scan that and they can read the new updated plan for our homeless and how we fund those programs and what those are going to. I think they've done a great job with it. We have increased, as you know, our homeless outreach teams. We're now merging our, or pairing our core team to go out with our homeless teams so that the services are able to be connected on the spot should anybody accept those services, which hasn't happened before. There's always been a little bit of a delay in trying to get services to them. So this addresses that gap and tries to improve those connections and improve then those willing to accept services, because they might say yes now, but if I have to wait till next week, then never mind. Or if I have to go somewhere, then never mind. If we can capture them at the time to accept a service and they plug that service in quickly, there's a lot higher chance of success for that person. So we're changing that process a little bit, and I'm encouraged by our initial contacts. Just even here on the boulevard, we're seeing an uptick in the acceptance of services, which gets them then off of the street. As far as personnel, we are finished with our interviews to fill 2 positions with our current team. The reason we have those 2 positions is because after our extensive process looking for sergeants, the 2 that surfaced at the top were 2 existing officers. So we promoted 2 of our officers to sergeant, and now we're filling behind them for our team. And we are currently in interviews for our motor unit now. So we're in the middle of round 1 for that. So hopefully within the next 30 days, we'll have identified some talented people to bring on in addition.
So exactly how many officers do you have right now?
So we have right now 4 officers and 2 sergeants. We're filling the other 2, so we'll be back up to 6 officers. And then we're hiring 7 motor units in addition to our motor sergeant.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have a question. I know City of Lancaster, they have an app to reporting
Yes.
all the problems throughout the city. I've been using it. It's a great system. Thank you. And, you know, I've been using it for the graffiti instance.
Yes.
They took care of that right away. So we'll be able to reach out to the Lancaster PD through that app. There's some instance, and we can take a picture and send it to the PD.
Yes, absolutely. So the way the app works, it goes to a team at City Hall who's responsible for taking in all of those. And based on what that request is or the problem that comes in, they immediately send it to the right department. So that could be Public Works, it could be Planning and Housing, it could be us. So we're part of that. So as those come in, if it's something directed to us, it will get forwarded to us
Just
immediately.
Send it to you. Okay. All right. Okay, thank you.
It is, I agree, it's a great system.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
I'd like to add something too, I forgot, if you don't mind.
Go right ahead.
Kind of a new program we've introduced at Lancaster Sheriff Station. So forgive me, but we're excited to announce our new virtual deputy program at the station. And it basically allows you to schedule a future meeting with a deputy sheriff to virtually report certain crimes or ask law enforcement related questions. So it's not intended for incidents requiring an immediate response, 911 or a priority call, or to file a public complaint. But it is being offered to alleviate delayed wait times and provide more efficient service to our community members that we serve and ensure that law enforcement services are readily available for those priority and emergent calls for service. So if you go to lasd.org and you click on the Lancaster Station site, or basically queue on lasd.org, you can click on the virtual deputy link and then proceed through for an appointment. So it's very exciting news. We have a deputy assigned to that now who handles those. If it's simple questions or you need a basic report, you can do that online with the virtual deputy. So just wanted to make that announcement for our community members. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Any other questions? No, okay. I don't think we have any of our elected officials present today, so we'll move into public business from the floor on non-agendized items.
I apologize, Commission. Do you mind if I add one more comment?
Oh,
too?
please.
I just wanted to add that yesterday, we posted on our page, the U.S. Attorney's Office filed murder charges in connection with 2 of the murders from June 25th of last year. It was the first 2 murders on June 25th. Actually, the suspects were involved in 3 shootings that day, ultimately, they determined. One on about 30th Street West and the one on Avenue H8 and Sierra Highway by Whit Carter Park. That one was a murder. And additionally, the shooting at the Chevron off Avenue L and Business Center Parkway there, off Division. The suspects were Pasadena, Denver Lane gang members, and they were arrested yesterday by the U.S. Attorney, or actually who filed charges yesterday.
Oh, good. That's great, thank you. Okay, public business from the floor, non-agendized items.
This is the time to address the Lancaster Criminal Justice Commission on non-agendized matters. Speaker cards can be found on the back table of the council chambers. Individual speakers are limited to 3 minutes each unless a different time limit is announced. State law prohibits the commission from taking action on items not listed on the agenda. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We have Mr. David Paul.
Thank you, Chair and Commission. I've learned to get up here because they start the clock and I'm walking, I lose 20 seconds, but they didn't do it today, so thank you very much. Yeah,
We'll make sure
I
you
love
get all
my
your time.
time here. You know, I think it's the old facility manager in me, but whenever I look at a situation, I ask myself, how much will that cost? And in all these situations, there's a human cost, and so there's a societal cost, and that's why I'm always concerned about the cost of law enforcement and the people that have to enforce our laws, because we beat them down with impossible tasks or quotas, and it's counterproductive. And I wanted to tell the chief, I couldn't make the meeting last night, but I did see the mayor comment on Chief Laffin at Rex's ultimatum to clear the encampments. And so that's one of those things that we want to do it, we need to do it. It's cost prohibitive. There's just not time and the money, and we're working on it. So, but on the way over here, I was crossing 10th Street and Jackman there. I see this old pickup truck, and it's full of crap in the back and stuff you can't even scrap for metal. And, statistically, the odds are it's going to wind up in the desert. So I'm thinking, if I could report that, somebody could do, but what a silly idea, because now you'd have to have somebody tag the truck or follow it. You got to wait till they get to the dump and actually throw something out, and then you have to arrest them. And then you're left holding the bag because you're going to be responsible for cleaning that crap up. And so it's like, and then they go to court and clog you up, and it's like, we could cut out all that middle stuff and just pick it up. And so the cost is just prohibitive sometimes in doing these things right. But that's why I come here to tell you guys, I appreciate the fact that we keep trying. And the new plan, I mean, it sounds good, and we'll find things that are better, and there still be things we need to improve, but it can grind you down. And I want you all to know that the community understands that, and we appreciate it. And I love coming here, and I love hearing this stuff. And District Attorney, your dissertation was particularly illuminating, because those are all the things that happen. And your department has those hosts that come from fighting the good fight, and thank you. Thank you all, and it was fun to be here, and I'm going to talk to Dr. Brown a little bit, and thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for your comments. Okay, we have no other public comments, so we'll go into commissioner comments. Nope. Okay, I do have some, just to let everybody know, stuff we talked a little bit about at previous meetings, and been working with Vice Chair Little, spoke with Vice Mayor Christ and Chief Armelin on the issue of some of these problem out-of-town property owners who are allowing crimes to take place in their commercial centers. And one thing, so what we came up with is the idea to, and want to announce this, to invite members of the public, if you're a small business owner in a commercial center where you're having these kinds of issues, please come talk to us at this meeting to provide some public comment so that we can work on addressing those things. And you know, if it rises to the level of requiring to bring in some of the property owners, that the chief and the council have that ability to enforce that. So I think we'll need to do marketing, because I know just announcing it here and to the viewers online will only get the word out so far. So I want to reach out to the chambers, business organizations, GAVAR, and let them know that we want to hear from them on these issues. Mhm. Okay. Okay. Having reached the end of our agenda, if there is no objection, we will adjourn to Wednesday, June 11th at 10 a.m. Hearing no objection, we are adjourned.